Welcome to the Business Spotlight Series. My name is Mike Torrez, and I'm a senior partner here with Action Coach in Central Iowa. Today, our guest is going to be Cinnamon Rost with 1809 Design. Uh, and I just want to thank her for spending her time with us. Ross,
Yes,
thank
you're
you for joining
welcome.
us. Will
Yes,
you
pleasure.
will you share a little bit about yourself and how you got into business?
Sure. So like you said, my name is Cinnamon Rost. I got into business basically at the time I was looking to create a job for myself, to be quite honest. And I have seen both my father and husband own businesses, and so it's kind of like in the blood. You get that itch to kind of like go out on your own, do your own thing, be your own boss, as they say. And so it's something that I wanted to do. I am a graphic designer. I studied communication design and business administration at Warburg College in Waverly. And so from a very young age, even high school, I thought, hey, working from home in my bunny slippers sounds like a great idea. So I spent a couple years in, full-time corporate entities, from newspaper publication and magazine publication to got trade show graphics and helping the real estate industry with some other stuff, working with another company. So a variety of places. And finally, I moved back to Iowa at this point, and I fell into a full-time contracting position as I was looking for full-time work. And that was great for 6 months. But when that changed to part-time, I thought, hey, this is the perfect time to start my business. And so that was 15 years ago. And so I've been doing my design stuff since then and helping lots of folks with their visual branding challenges. So I love working with small businesses and helping others. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
to set the stage for the viewers and listeners, generally speaking, what does the structure of your uh, business look like in your role?
Okay. Well, I am a solopreneur, so I am the only person in my business, and so I wear all the hats, from accounting to HR to design to account service, everything. And so it's a challenge. And there's days that I really hate my job, and there's days that I really love my job, and I am my own worst boss. So, you know, the buck stops with me, as they say.
If you were to pass off any of those hats, what hat would you pass off? What would be the first hat?
Oh, definitely the accounting side. I do not enjoy billing and the estimating and all that kind of stuff. I would much rather just design and do the fun parts. And I honestly enjoy some of the account service stuff too. We're just helping people, getting to talk with the clients directly and finding out what they truly need. So those are the best parts of my business. But yeah, if I could give away the accounting, I would, for sure.
Yeah. So when you look at your role, how many hours do you spend working in your business, the job, and how many hours on the business, the strategy is and planning?
Oh, I would say in the business, probably the majority of my time is in the business. As far as strategy and things that I want to do, or different ways of my processes, that I probably don't spend as much time as I probably should. I would say, several hours a month probably on that, depending on what's going on. So I don't spend a ton of time on, strategy and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, yep.
Okay. Now let's move into what makes your business so special. Who
Okay.
primarily does your business serve, right? And if
Yep.
I
Sure.
were in the audience, how would I know that you're a good fit for me?
Sure, sure. So my primary clients are basically, I have two wheels, or two areas that I like to look at. I would say I have the small business client, and so those are the people that I work with directly, and they're the ones that usually come to me because they don't have the time or the resources to, create something visual for their company and they need my help. And so, and they don't want to do it themselves, or maybe they can do it themselves, but they don't have the time or the know-how behind it to do it themselves. So I work with them. I love to work with especially new businesses, ones that, need a logo, need that branding right off the bat. But I also work with companies with established business or established branding. So, if you need a brochure, or maybe it's a T-shirt or a trade show graphic or something like that. Those lines, I'd be happy to help. The other side of my business is I'm more of a contracting side of things. So I work primarily with ad agencies or marketing companies. They will reach out to me for help. Usually it's because they're short on staff, or they have a lot of projects going through and they just needed additional help at that time. And so I like working with them as well. So two sides of my business, really.
And what would you say that makes you unique, that why clients
Oh,
choose
sure.
you?
Why would you work with me? Sure. I would say what makes me unique is that I really like, especially with those small business clients, I really like to listen to them and I really try to help them. And I know that's not unique to everybody, but I've been told that I'm very easy to work with, that I'm very detailed orientated. And so when you ask me to do something for you, I'm going to listen to your needs. I'm going to really work with you as a partner versus just coming in and taking over. I want that relationship back and forth, and I want to work together with you. So that partnership. And come on, I mean, how many companies can say they are working with someone named Cinnamon? So, I mean,
That's awesome.
I will also say, with a lot of my clients, especially those that aren't sure, if it's a right fit or whatever, I always offer a 30-minute free discovery call. So we'll get on, we can talk, we can kind of get to know each other a little bit, or even meet in person if they're local, and, kind of see if we're a good fit, because I don't want to work with anybody that's not a good fit with me, and vice versa. So if your company isn't a good fit for what I do, I'll let you know, and maybe even help you find the company that is right for you.
It's good to know, and I want to just take a second and let everybody know to check out Cinnamon's website. It's a great website, something that she can do for you and help
Hmm.
advertise. Uh, I want you to tell the viewers, just a little bit about your name, because Cinnamon here is very
Sure.
creative.
Yes. So my name, my parents were big fans of the show Mission Impossible back in like the late 60s, early 70s. And there was a gal in there named Cinnamon Tate. And so that's where they kind of came up with the whole idea of Cinnamon being a first name. And then the longer they thought about it, it was, they thought, usually think good things with cinnamon, such as cinnamon rolls and cinnamon buns and all the good things that cinnamon's in. So, they really liked that name and went with it. I know the doctor at the time thought my mother was completely crazy by calling me Cinnamon, but it's grown on me. I've really come to appreciate it, especially in this world where there's so many different people and so many different designers and things out there that do a lot of things similar to me. Having a name like Cinnamon is really unique, and good or bad, people are going to remember me.
Yeah. Also, tell us about your business name, the 1809
Sure.
design. That's also unique and very.
Yes. Yeah. So 1809 design, 1809, it was my house number growing up and where I first started doing design. And so I just thought it had a nice ring to it, 1809 and design, which rhymes. Also will end up being first in the phone book usually because it's a number. And so it just worked out well for me, and it was a good fit.
Nice. Nice. Now, what is one thing you wish more people knew about your business?
So first thing is I am not an interior designer. I can't give you a kitchen plan or tell you what colors to use in your living room. I get that a lot. But I would say one thing that I think people don't really appreciate with graphic design is a lot of times they think, oh, that's really easy. Just throw a font out there and it's good to go. There's a lot of research, especially with logo design. I'll speak to that specifically, that goes into a logo. And so when you work with me, I don't just, put something together. I basically interview you. I want to know about your business, who your competitors are, who your customers are, who you're trying to reach, I also ask, some of your things. I want to know the personality of the business. Is it, are they someone who's fun, or are they more, maybe it's an elegant type of business or more of an industrial feel to it? I want to know kind of the thoughts behind your business and what you like, and what's the best fit, because having all that information, I put that all in and kind of think about it and try to find that look and that feel that's going to best serve you and then get you those customers that you really want.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. So they see that logo and they think of,
Yeah,
think
think of them.
they think of, yeah.
Yes, and then it's really catered. It's really tailored to that business, because there's a lot of things you can just go out there real quick, and spend $50 or whatever and get a logo, and it's like it's not going to be unique. It's not going to really tell the story behind your business or really reflect who you are as a business. And so I think a lot of times people don't understand that there's a lot more than just what you see in front of you. There's a lot of research that goes in behind a lot of the designs that I do.
Awesome. Now this leads me into the marketing, which
Sure.
is something vital to every business, right? And
Hmm.
often an area of many owners struggle with, right?
Yes.
Now I'm curious, what successful businesses do. What percentage of your monthly revenue do you say you would put back into your marketing budget?
Oh God. That's, I've never really thought of it down to that point. A lot of what I do is networking and, you know, meeting people one on one. And so some of that, yes, there's like membership fees. I belong to the Clive Chamber. I belong to some other groups as well. And so I look at that as marketing costs, or I tend different things, events that are going on in the community, whether I'm trying to learn something new, or maybe I'm just trying to meet people who I think could, use my services. All of that goes into that. So I couldn't give you an exact number as how much I spend, but that's where my money goes. I don't spend a lot of like digital ads or anything like that. It's a lot of just getting out there and getting in front of people, and that networking aspect, that referral
Mhm.
aspect. So yeah.
Yeah, that's in our business, especially as a solopreneur, right? Your time
Mm-hmm.
is a percentage is a
Yes.
percentage of your marketing
That
budget,
that's a
right? So
very yes, that's a very good point. I mean, because there are days it's like, yeah, I'm in my office, and yeah, maybe we'll work an 8, 9 hour day or something like that. But a lot of times that doesn't mean that I'm actually designing something. That might mean, hey, I got a luncheon that I'm going to, so that counts as like basically my marketing time and the cost that it
yeah.
costs to do that. Or I'm doing that, estimating or accounting work that I hate, some of that stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. One thing I remember when I first got started in the business, they said, you have billable hours, and the book that I was reading at the time is like, don't expect you to bill 8 hours a day. It's just not going to work that way. You got to make sure that your rate reflects, that you're probably only going to work like 4 to 6 hours a day in your actual, billable hours. So
Mhm. Yeah. So would you say networking, or what would you say is your number one marketing strategy that's brought the most business?
I would say networking, to be honest.
Networking.
It's like they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that is very true. And especially, I've been in business for 15 years, and I think about all the different people that I worked with. And a lot of the times, when I get a new client or something like that, it's because they talked to somebody else, or they know somebody else, or I worked with this person a long time ago and they remembered me, and now that they're at a new company, and now they need somebody, and so they call me up and ask me to work. So it's a lot about just those relationships. It's very important. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, every holiday season, right? Hey,
Hmm.
cinnamon.
Exactly. Exactly.
What approach have you taken to track your leads? Do you use a CRM or any kind of service?
You know, yes, I don't have something like really specific that's, really good about like, okay, this came in, and you send all this stuff out, but I do use a system called Dubsado. Um, it's, it's an online, um, thing, which I can track my time. I can do my billing out of there. Leads come into there, kind of filter into there. I can schedule out of there. So it's a lot of different ways of kind of tracking the leads in there, and I can see who's coming in, what they're coming in for, and then handle it from there. So it's not super sophisticated, but it works for what I do and what I need. Yep.
So, all right, we spent some time focused on the business and sharing a few best practices for the audience. I would love to take a step back and dive a
Okay.
little bit more into your journey more.
Sure.
So, you mentioned, you touched base on it earlier, but why did you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to working for somebody else? And what was the transition like for you?
Sure. Um, I think, I was thinking about this, and when I was younger, I pretty much decided by the time I was a freshman in high school that graphic design is kind of where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And I think even at that point, we're talking about, the late 90s. Um, I had this dream of working from home in my bunny slippers. And so um, the idea of being an entrepreneur was something that I wasn't scared of, wasn't something that I didn't think I could do. But I credit a lot of this to my dad, who owned his own company and his own business. And I saw that for myself and saw how that could actually work. And so I think having him as an inspiration was very helpful in making me, not fear the thought of like going out on my own and doing my own thing. And so I knew coming out of college that even though I wanted to be in business for myself, that I needed that experience first. I needed to get out there. And I'm so thankful that I did. I needed those first couple of jobs to really kind of help me hone in on my skills, to really understand customers, how to talk to customers and reach customers. And I'm very thankful for those first couple of jobs that I did have that were, in your typical businesses. I worked for, small to medium sized companies and really got to see the ins and outs of it, the good and the bad. And so when I had the opportunity to do my own business, I was able to take the leap. And I think the biggest catalyst for this was I was moving. So I was in Maryland at the time, and my husband had gotten a job back in Iowa. And so we moved. And once we got kind of settled a little bit, I'm like, okay, I need to start looking for work. And I was looking for full-time work, thinking that's the next step. I was going to get another job. And so I fell into some full-time contracting work, to make a long story short. And so I did that for about 6 months. And then after 6 months, they said, hey, we only need you part-time. Would you be willing and able to do that? And so I thought, hey, this is perfect. I'm bringing in some money, and I'm going to have some time to really work on building that business that I want to do. And so it was a great opportunity for me. And I would say anybody who's thinking about starting a business on their own is, have that fallback fund that you need. I mean, I think having, 6 months to a year salary or income or something in savings is really important, and kind of takes stress off a little bit, because it can be very stressful starting your own business, and knowing that you have a little bit of a cushion is huge. And if you can do a part-time job and, also work on your business, that's even better. So I think that was the biggest catalyst for me. I don't know if I hadn't gotten that part-time opportunity at the time. And to a lot of people thinking, oh, you're going from full-time to part-time, that's not a great opportunity. Well, for me, it was an opportunity. It wasn't something that I looked at as a bad thing. So it was great. And it was my leaping off point. And here I am 15 years later. So
Yeah. Sometimes we just need those little pushes or something like that, just like the sign
mm-hmm.
behind me says, right? The biggest risk you
Yes.
can take is doing nothing, right? So,
Yeah. Yep.
that's a lot of times people share that, with COVID, with there's so many bad things, but there were so many good things that came out as far as the business
Yes.
owners, people taking that leap. It pushed them into
Mm-hmm.
taking that step, and now they're enjoying something that they really love to do.
Yes. Yes. No, that gift of time, whether it's time or whether it's a gift of money or whatever, is huge in starting a business for sure.
Mhm. So as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you
Oh,
challenged with, and how'd you overcome it?
you know what? I would say going back to COVID, honestly, was probably the one of the biggest challenges because my business was going really well at this point. It was chugging along, and then that happened, and everybody just kind of said, "Oh, we don't know what's happening. We're going to pull back all our marketing dollars because nobody knew what was going on." And so 2020 turned out to be a very quiet year for my business. And so as much as it hurt at the time, at the same time, it also gave me an opportunity to work on like a passion project of mine and kind of move things forward in this area, and that I wouldn't have probably had the opportunity, or at least I would have gotten to it, but I wouldn't be able to have spent the amount of time that I did on it. And so I was thankful for that. It also gave me time to kind of think about like, is design really what I want to do for a while yet? Is it something that I'm still happy with doing? And so I think that also gave me some time to reflect, and so trying to look for the silver lining. But yeah, during that time it was scary because it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to have a job in a year, that kind of thing. And so again, having that safety net, having those savings, I definitely had those in the bank, so that helped. And I think for any business owner, if you can save up some money, and I know that's not possible for everybody, but I think just having that cushion is super helpful.
Now, let's look fast forward a few years, and
Mhm.
where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, if all things considered, I hope that I am doing as good as I am today because I am steady busy, which I love being. Um, I know people talk about, oh, I have all these plans and all these things, but honestly, I'm very happy with where I'm at in my business. I want to continue working with people, helping those businesses be the best that they can be. I think in my industry, I'm a little bit concerned, or I should say cautiously optimistic. I see a lot of changes coming, especially with um, AI that's going on in the creative industries, and to see what happens. Like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think how I do design today is going to change a lot. And so I'm keeping my thumb on some things, going to some classes and those kinds of things to try to keep up to date with everything that's changing.
How would you say you handle goal setting? Are you good at it, or how many goals do you set at a time?
Sure. I would say I'm not the greatest at it, but I've challenged myself over the last couple of years with goals and setting goals. And when I have set goals, it's been very good for me. And I've discovered a variety of different ways to set goals. Of course, there's SMART goals, which I think are great for when you really have something where you want to meet a certain number or a certain time or those kinds of things. I think that's great. For me, that doesn't always work the best. I almost like get rebellious about it. I don't even want to like, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And so I just push it away. So it doesn't really help me. But I read a book a couple years ago called The Desire Map by Laporte. And so she had a great way of kind of looking at goals and peeling back goals a little bit. And it's actually more about how you want to feel. And so I look at it this way, if I want to feel invigorated, for instance, what goals or what things could I do to create that sense of invigoration? And so for like last year, for instance, I took a pottery class, something that I had never done, really enjoyed it, and it boosted my creativity and I felt excited about it. And I think it really just helped my overall outlook on life and my job and everything. So I think there's a lot of different ways to set goals and a lot of ways of doing things. And so I think you got to find that right way to get yourself motivated.
Yeah, nice, nice. Yeah, goals are a struggle for a lot of people out there, and we have certainly covered a lot of ground on conversation
Yeah.
today. For those of you who are watching, I highly recommend that you save this and take a few looks back at it and take out the great nuggets that Cinnamon has shared with us. And again, visit her website. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you like it so you get those notifications every time we have a new conversation come up. As we begin to wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions, just
Okay.
quick top off the head answers to go
Sure.
through. So, What is the key to success for you?
The key for success for me is who can I help? Who can I make successful? Because making someone else successful makes me successful. So it's all about who I can serve.
What is one piece of advice for other business owners?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to say breathe. It sounds so simple, but taking just that big breath in, holding it for like 5 seconds, and then breathing out for like 10 seconds. Doing that a couple times when you're under stress just kind of helps to refresh you and revive you and give you a little bit of new perspective.
Awesome. And then you shared a book already, but what is one book that you are reading now or you have read most recently that you want to share?
Sure. I am in the process of reading Quit by Annie Duke. And so it's just it's a different way of looking or how I'm knowing when to quit something. And so she is a former professional poker player, and she also has like a psychology degree. And so it's just a very different way of looking at things. She's very interesting. And so I just kind of started that book. So I can't give you a whole lot of, nuggets or insights, but she has a way of looking at things, especially like knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. So, it's all about about that. And so I'm looking forward to really digging into this book.
Oh yeah, that makes me want to read it right there and sing it at the
Yeah.
same time. If you had to choose one area in your business that you could immediately improve tomorrow, what would it be?
Oh, improve tomorrow. Let's see. There's a lot of repetitive things that I do, especially when it comes to digital ads and those kinds of things. So when you look at an ad online and then it's tailored directly to you, there's a designer behind that is putting together all these different iterations of ads. So I'm currently working on a project right now where there's a template that I have to follow, but I have to put together like 99 different variations on this template, changing out images, changing out people's names, those kinds of things. And so it's just a lot of repetitiveness. And so I'm looking forward, hopefully, to more automation. That would be great in my business.
So I could see you reading another some AI stuff soon.
Yes, that's where AI could really help me out. Stop, taking away all the fun part of my business, which is the creative side, designing stuff and one-off stuff. Give me something that can help with all this repetitive stuff that I end up doing that I don't necessarily like doing.
Yeah. Now, before we get into the final question of the day, how can others learn more about you and your company, and how can they get in contact with you?
Sure, you can visit my website. So that's 1809design.com, and you can find out a whole bunch of information about me. You get a better idea about my style, people and companies that I have worked for. So that's a great way to start anyways. And on there, you can find obviously my phone number and email, and I'll give that to you right here too. My email is cinnamon. That's just like the spice. So CINNAMON at 1809design.com. And you can call me at 515-989-1809.
Awesome. Make sure to go visit her sites, follow her, and see what's new and what she keeps teaching us. And we thank you for your time and everything, Cinnamon. But we got that one last question. What is
Sure.
most inspiring to you today? What is most inspiring to you
Wow.
today?
Today. I was thinking about, this question. It's interesting because I get inspired by a lot of different things. But the first thing that popped into my head was I have two adorable nieces and two handsome nephews, and they inspire me every day. Just their perspectives on life. The nieces are 5 and 7. The boys are 15 and 18. And so just their perspectives on the world, especially the 5 and 7 year olds, they just, they're so unfiltered and it's refreshing. And it makes me look at the world differently every time. And so I really appreciate what they have brought into my life. And so, yeah, I'm a proud aunt over here.
Awesome. Do you just tell them call you Cinnamon, or is there another name for them?
They've gotten to be with just Cinnamon or Aunt
Okay.
Cinnamon. And I'm like, I've tried to just say, you don't have to call me Aunt Cinnamon. You just call me Cinnamon because Aunt Cinnamon's a mouthful. But a lot of times they call me Aunt Cinnamon. So yeah, it's fun. I keep waiting for that nickname to come in, but they haven't done it yet. So we'll see.
Well, again, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us and watching the business spotlight. We're here with Cinnamon at 1809 Designs. Again, make sure you visit, follow, and like her, and stay tuned and like and follow our page so you can get more content like this coming soon.